So this is the Grow Out 40 breeder. I already pre-painted the back of the tank black. Not gonna paint the bottom because we'll have substrate over there in the corner. Hatching out some brine shrimp with this brine shrimp hatcher. Today is actually harvest day, so that'll be getting harvested later. Yeah, this whole area is like an open pod that we don't use. So we've got the 40 breeder, and we've got the lid, which I'm not a fan of these, but this is what they had. The top fin, it's got all these goofy little hard plastic strips on the back. In theory, seems like it'd be great, but in actual practice, not the best, but you know, this is what I'm gonna run with. And then for substrate, this substrate's actually really nice. This Aqua Nature stuff, Corey really likes it too. I think he also likes the Midnight Pearl like I do. So I got 3 bags of Midnight Pearl in 20 pound. And then we've got 1 bag of the Gold Pearl, which is a little bit larger. So I'm gonna mix it all together. They didn't have 4 bags of this one, and this one's close enough. And it's got some bigger rocks in it, which I feel like we'll just add a little tiny visual interest to the substrate. And then I've got a bunch of plants that will be going in here, and I'll show you where this is gonna go. I was gonna put it in this little pod area, but I actually kind of want to, I don't know, not have it like in a main area. And then even the brine shrimp hatching will get moved to here. So this used to be like a dispatch office, I would say, for the previous tenants that were here. I think they would, you know, stage their production orders, and they would actually pass it through that window to production. But that's actually our packing belt right there. So right now it's just kind of overflow for old TV mounts that we had from Washington that are here. Old, what are these little fire sticks, little transmitters that we would use to cast production dashboards on and whatnot to monitor our metrics. So I just need to clean this up a little bit, and I think it will go right here. And what I like is that solid cabinets all the way to the ground. So that's actually gonna act as the stand. And then I'll probably remove this off the wall at some point because we don't need it and it's kind of in the way. And then yeah, I'll hatch brine shrimp out of here, and maybe slowly this will turn into an actual fish room here at work. Shh, don't tell Corey. All right, I got it pretty well centered on here where I want the tank to go. Next step is going to be to put in the substrate. And I've also gone ahead and completely wiped out the inside with paper towels and water, just because there's, you know, from it sitting on the shelf in the store, a lot of dust and whatever debris might have gotten in here during the shipping transit. So yeah, next up, substrate. All right, so the substrate is all set up now. All the bags are in here, and it really kind of looks, you know, like it was meant to be. Like I don't think you can really tell that I mixed an additional bag of substrate that wasn't supposed to be in there. I got a nice little gradual slope going to the back. Not bad for my hand. You know, I could probably smooth it out with a piece of cardboard if I really wanted to, but I'm not that concerned about it. So next up, here's my little shopping adventure that I just did. Next up is actually root tabs. So I've never done it before where I actually do a dry start where I just plop root tabs into the substrate and then fill it up with water. So I'm gonna do root tabs. These we actually sell to members only. So when we get Wenties in, sometimes they go through the conversion process, and as they start to convert, they don't look super appealing. And so what we do is we pull them out, and we have a new product listing called Mystery Crypt Wenty. It could be red, green, Tropica, undulata, and we make it available to YouTube members only, the Aquarium Co-Op YouTube channel members only, and they can pick these up on the website. So still perfectly good crypts. They're just going through the conversion process again. I should say, they're going through the conversion process for the first time. And you know, while this is a healthy crypt, you'd be sad if you receive this, even though it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. We like to send you something that is full of leaves and, you know, looks good when you do your unboxing. I've got my air pump. I've got my large sponge filter. There's that top that I'm not in love with. But yeah, so next time you see this, I'll have the plants in and maybe even a little bit of water as well. So very exciting. All right, so we are root tabbed and planted up. We've got the plant that I dare not try to pronounce again up front. Again, hopefully that's gonna be kind of a carpeting runner plant. And in the back, an army of crypt wenties and the other crypt, Crispatula. That's a fun name, Crispatula. Got some of the crypt pink flamingos, or flamingos, I should say. We'll see how they convert and how the submerged leaves grow in. Here's the crispitula, kind of right here in the middle of the tank. And just Wenty City everywhere else. So there are root tabs already in here. Just kind of hedging my bet with the amount of plants that I put in here. Yeah, if everything takes, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be quite the jungle. And again, the whole point of this tank is to be a low maintenance tank that is a grow out for rosy barbs. So having this just massive plant matter helping to keep the water clean, you know, for me to be a little bit on the lazy side and not have to do water changes nearly as frequently as, you know, I would have to if I had this to be a bare bottom tank. And I think it's just gonna look pretty sweet having this crazy jungle tank. So I'm using currently a 48-inch light. We're out of our 36s. So I'll have to get something that's a little bit more form-fitting for this tank because right now it just overhangs, but it'll get the job done. So next up is to fill this guy up. And this is how I'm getting water into the 40 breeder, using an Aquarium Co-Op power head with a piece of gravel vac tubing going into the tank. And we're getting a little bit of gravel disruption, but it's nothing major. It's nothing as bad as if I tried to just Hercules the 5-gallon bucket into there, maybe trying to use my hand to stop the splashing. Ideally, I would have some type of a colander or something like that, but no colander here today. But this works pretty darn well, and this water is actually coming from our plant tank system. So it's already passed through our carbon block filter, our sediment filter. It's already got Easy Green in it. It's actually got some CO2 in it from the fact that we do CO2 injection, which this tank is not going to be CO2 injected. But you know, having the nitrates in here is good. And I will continue to dose Easy Green in here as well, just like the office tanks. The work is finished. We've got water, we have sponge air filtration, we have lighting, the air pump, the lid's on, the lid that I feel like I'm gonna shatter in a million pieces as I try to put these little plastic pieces on, which in theory, like in concept, I feel like this is a really good idea, but then in actual practice, it's kind of sketchy. So yeah, here we go. The grow out 40 breeder is done. Now I'm gonna go harvest some brine shrimp and feed out some fish.